Welcome back to the deep dive. Okay, so you've handed us quite a stack here. It looks like source material covering about a week and a half of just pure chaos, really. Mid-October 2025, spanning Genoa City in LA.
That's right. High-stakes collisions, both literal and figurative. And our job, as always, is to cut through that chaos, find the signal in the noise, and give you the crucial insights.
We're looking beyond just the surface drama. We want to get at the bigger shifts happening, especially for the Newmans and the Abbotts. It feels like a lot is converging right now.
It absolutely is, and the source material we're working with today is pretty specific. We've got detailed early spoilers, transcripts too, covering events right from October 15th and then pushing straight into that really explosive week of the 20th through the 24th.
Okay.
And this period, it's not just about emotional fights, though there are plenty of those. It's really defined by sudden physical danger and, frankly, a potentially existential corporate threat brewing back home.
All right, let's try and unpack this then. We've sort of identified three main threads, right, that seem to be driving everything forward. And they all seem to carry this undercurrent of, well, fury and danger.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. First, you've got Kyle Abbott out in L.A. His attempt to win back Claire ends in just a definitive no-going-back rejection. And that seems to set him off on a pretty destructive path.
Okay, rejection first. What's second?
Second is the crash. Noah Newman. It's sudden, it looks devastating, and crucially, there's this immediate suggestion it might have been targeted, not just an accident.
Wow, okay.
And that immediately pushes his father, Nick Newman, into this kind of vengeful, investigative mode.
Yeah.
He's not just grieving, he's hunting for answers.
Right. And the third thread?
Third, we pivot back to Genoa City. It's the corporate battle, but it's escalating fast. It centers on Kane Ashby and this advanced AI project he's got. And the sources are clear. This AI is seen as highly dangerous.
Okay, three big ones.
Yeah.
Where should we start? The rejection seems like maybe the emotional starting pistol for some of this.
I think so. Let's start on the West Coast, Los Angeles. Because Kyle's trip there, it's just a masterclass in how not to win someone back. It's almost painful to read about.
Okay, lay it out for us. The West Coast confrontation, Kyle and Claire.
So the timeline puts this right on Wednesday, October 15th. Kyle shows up at Claire Grace Newman's hotel. He's got flowers, he's putting on the charm offensive, trying to be the romantic hero swooping in.
But it backfires immediately, doesn't it? Because the first thing he apparently admits is how he found her.
Exactly. He cops to the fact that Victoria Newman, Claire's aunt, notorious manipulator, told him where she was.
Oh, boy.
And the spoilers specifically say Claire strongly dislikes that. It's like right out of the gate, he confirms her worst fears. He's still tangled up in the Newman family control matrix, not acting independently or, more importantly, respecting her independence.
It's not just bad timing, then. It's proof that he fundamentally doesn't get why she left in the first place.
Precisely. She explicitly asked for time and space. That was her boundary. And him showing up, especially with Victoria's help, it's a massive violation of that boundary. He tries to spin it, of course.
How so?
He claims he's there to protect her, from Holden Novak, the guy she actually left town with. He's trying to frame himself as the protector against this other guy.
And she doesn't want his protection.
Yeah.
Right. That's the whole point. She wants autonomy.
Exactly. So when he pushes, asks her for a date that night, the rejection is swift. And it's absolute. She tells him flat out, nope, already have plans. With Holden.
Ouch.
And then she delivers the line that really seals it, according to the sources. Look, I made my choice. Just unambiguous, final.
Wow. So it's not just I need space. It's I chose someone else and I chose away from you.
And what's really interesting, looking at the character dynamics here, is why she rejects him so firmly. He thinks he's showing loving persistence, right? Being the guy who fights for her. But Claire sees it totally differently. She sees it as control. She spells it out for him, his constant attempts to, monitor her, manage her, save her. That's exactly why she had to get away.
So his grand romantic gesture actually just proves her point. It reinforces the very dynamic she was escaping.
Perfectly put. She tells him she needs to find herself, which, is a common theme after trauma, which she's certainly been through. But the key part is she says she can't do that under his watchful eye.
That phrase, watchful eye. It's chilling. It makes him sound less like a boyfriend and more like a guard.
It really does. And it suggests she saw their relationship, or at least his behavior within it, as another form of confinement, maybe echoing some of her past captivity in a way. So this isn't just a breakup. It's her deliberately breaking free from a pattern she recognized as toxic for her.
Which means there's really no wiggle room here for Kyle. His trip is not just a failure, it's actively counterproductive.
Totally counterproductive. And it sets the stage for the rage that's coming when he gets back home. The scene gets even more awkward, apparently. Holden, the other guy, shows up.
Oh, perfect timing.
Right. Kyle immediately tells him to leave, tries to assert dominance. But Holden, he seems to read the situation better. He just agrees to wait downstairs, gives Kyle a few more minutes to absorb the rejection. It's quite the contrast in approaches.
And Kyle still doesn't get it, even after all that.
Apparently not. The sources say he tells Claire he's planning to stay at the hotel for a few days, just hanging around, just in case she changes her mind.
Oh, Kyle. That's not romantic persistence. That's almost like emotional stalking at that point. It's just uncomfortable pressure.
It really blurs the line, doesn't it? It shows a fundamental lack of respect for her decision, for her no. But there is one small moment of maybe grace or just finality.
Look at.
She agrees to pose for a photo with him, a courtesy photo, the sources call it, so he can send it back to his son, Harrison.
So a nod to the shared connection through Harrison, but not a softening toward Kyle himself.
Exactly. If anything, it probably underscores the finality. It's like, I care about your son, but we are done. And her actions immediately after Kyle leaves confirm it.
What does she do?
She reportedly tells Holden she has zero regrets about leaving Genoa City, and she starts flirting with him, signaling very clearly that she's moving forward right then and there.
So Kyle's lingering presence is just
Yeah.
sad, really. He's hoping for a miracle that isn't coming.
Completely futile. And the sources even suggest it might get to the point where she has to explicitly, bluntly tell him to leave town just to make him finally understand. He went looking for a reunion and got served an eviction notice from her life. Painful.
Yeah, a total disaster for Kyle. And you said that emotional wound is going to fester.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to come out sideways the second he sets foot back in Genoa City. But while Kyle's licking his wounds in LA, the focus abruptly shifts because back east, or rather the news reaching back east, is about a sudden, terrifying medical crisis.
Okay, let's pivot then. This is the Genoa City shocker. Noah Newman's crash. It sounds like it changes the whole tone of the week.
Instantly. It takes things from relationship drama, however intense, to literal life and death stakes. The news starts filtering back through the family in Genoa City.
How does it break?
Victoria is the one who tells Nate Hastings, just drops it on him. Noah's been in a very bad car crash.
And Nate's reaction. It's interesting, according to the notes here.
It is. It's kind of a glimpse into his current mindset. Upon hearing this awful news about his cousin, his immediate thought goes to legacy and philanthropy.
Really? How so?
He apparently decides right then to plan a large donation to University Hospital. The goal, to get a wing named in honor of his late brother, Damien.
Wow, that's quite a reaction.
Oh.
Leveraging a family tragedy for a naming opportunity.
It seems jarring, doesn't it? But if you think about Nate's trajectory, the medical scandal, the career shift, his constant striving for acceptance and status within the Newman-Winters sphere, maybe it makes the kind of sense for him. Like, he's trying to reestablish his legitimacy, even his connection to the medical world, through this act. Cement his place.
Possibly. It could be seen as his way of processing, maybe, but also seizing an opportunity to burnish his own image or his family's, even in the face of tragedy. It definitely reinforces his ongoing quest for redemption and standing.
Meanwhile, the actual horror is unfolding out in L.A. Nick and Sharon rush out there, obviously.
Yes, and the news they get is grim. Sharon confirms to Nick that Noah's injuries are severe. We're talking serious facial and skull damage. He needed surgery immediately.
Oh my God. That sounds terrible.
And the visual, when they finally see him, it's apparently quite shocking. His face is completely wrapped in bandages. You can imagine the emotional toll on Nick and Sharon, seeing their son like that.
Especially for Sharon, right? The sources mention this resonates with past tragedies for her.
Deeply. The spoilers really emphasize her distress. She's apparently distraught, pointing out this horrific pattern. Cassie died in a car crash. Faith had that bad wreck. And now Noah, critically injured in another crash. It's like a recurring nightmare for her. You can understand her feeling like their family is somehow cursed when it comes to cars.
Absolutely. It adds another layer of trauma onto an already devastating situation. But beyond the grief, there's immediate confusion setting in.
About the crash itself.
Yeah. Nick and Sharon are trying to piece together the basic facts, and they just don't add up. Why was Noah way out in Malibu? It was apparently far from his hotel. And why so late at night? It don't make sense for just a random accident.
Okay, so the circumstances themselves are raising red flags.
Big time. And this confusion, this lack of a simple explanation, feeds directly into the next major development, the targeting hypothesis.
This is where it shifts from accident to potential crime.
Exactly. Nick starts thinking back. He recalls the last conversation he had with Noah, and he mentions Noah seemed off, that's the word used, on edge, maybe a little nervous.
So there were signs something was wrong before the crash.
Signs that Nick probably dismissed at the time, but now, in hindsight, they take on a sinister meaning. That slight nervousness, combined with the weird location and timing of the crash, it's enough.
Enough to convince Nick.
Enough for the narrative, and likely Nick to conclude, this was not an accident, but Noah was targeted. That phrase is key in the spoilers.
And that changes everything for Nick, doesn't it? His grief turns into something else.
It absolutely transforms him. The sources describe his state as shifting into a raging fury. But it's not just blind anger, it's focused, it's investigative. He's no longer just a grieving father, he's a man on a mission to find out who did this to his son, who tried to kill him.
So the investigation kicks off pretty much right away.
Almost immediately. The spoilers place the start around Thursday, October 16th. There's mention of Nick and Sharon crossing paths with some mysterious stranger. Could be a red herring, could be important.
Okay.
But the significant development is the introduction of a new character, Detective Burrow. He's played by Matt Cohen, and he's the official investigator assigned to the crash.
And Nick works with him.
The sources say Nick teams up with him right away, throws himself into it completely. All his resources, all his focus is now about uncovering the truth alongside this detective. This is Nick Newman in protective, avenging father mode, which, as we know, can make him incredibly relentless and potentially dangerous to whoever's responsible.
So this opens up a whole world of questions. Why would someone target Noah?
That's the million-dollar question. Given Noah's recent dabbling in the LA nightclub scene, was this business-related? Was someone trying to muscle him out, send a warning, or was it a direct hit?
How did they even find his car? It sounds like it was off the beaten path. Who called it in?
More unanswered questions, and it loops back potentially to some of the other LA players we were just talking about.
Like who? Holden.
Or maybe Sienna Bacall. Remember, she's described as an insider in that LA club scene. She was seen talking about the past with Holden, making him nervous.
Right. So are we thinking Sienna might hold the key? Could she know who Noah might have crossed? Intentionally or unintentionally?
It's pure speculation based on the connections presented in the sources, but it's plausible, isn't it? If anyone has insight into the rivalries, the dangers, let's say the less savory side of the LA nightlife that Noah might have stumbled into, it could be her.
So Nick and Sharon might need to track her down, get her talking.
That seems like a logical next step for Nick's investigation, driven by that cold, righteous fury. He's going to be looking for exactly that kind of insider connection, anyone who knew Noah's dealings out there.
Okay, so we have Kyle imploding from rejection in LA, and Nick igniting with fury over Noah's targeted crash, also stemming from LA connections. But you said there's a third major crisis happening simultaneously back in Genoa City.
That's right. While all this personal drama is exploding, the corporate world isn't sleeping. We need to dive into the corporate wars and character conflicts back home.
And this revolves around Kane Ashby's AI project.
Squarely. This isn't just background noise. It's becoming a central high-stakes plot. And the consensus in the source material is clear. This AI project Kane has developed is considered seriously dangerous.
What makes it so dangerous? Are we talking Skynet level or more like financial disruption?
It's probably less about physical robots taking over and more about the potential for chaos within systems. Think sophisticated autonomous software. The fear isn't just data theft anymore. It's about potential for massive financial manipulation, wrecking market stability, or even infrastructure sabotage crippling Newman Enterprises operations, for instance. Or perhaps even more insidiously, automated character assassination, using the AI to find and release compromising information, create deepfakes, ruin reputations automatically. Kane is sitting on a digital weapon.
That sounds terrifyingly plausible in today's world. And the Newmans are aware of this specific danger level.
Oh, yes. It's serious enough that Nikki Newman decides she needs to get involved directly. She steps in to handle matters personally.
That's usually a sign things have gotten really bad.
Yeah.
When Nikki takes the reins personally.
Exactly. It signals this is a top-tier threat. She confronts Kane directly, trying to gauge the real potential, the real danger of this software he's created.
And what about the other Newman power players? Victor, Adam,
They're definitely in the mix. Victor, Adam, and Chelsea actually are working together on this, and they seem pretty confident. The sources say they believe they have Kane right where they want him, cornered.
They think they can shut it down, neutralize the threat before it bites them.
That seems to be their operating assumption. They're moving in for the kill, professionally speaking, but there's a complication, a big one.
Let me guess. Phyllis Summers.
Bingo. Their confidence might be misplaced because they might be underestimating Kane's ace in the hole, his secret alliance with Phyllis.
Ah, Phyllis, the ultimate chaos agent.
Exactly. She operates completely outside the normal rules of corporate warfare. She's got a history of dramatic, unpredictable, and often reckless moves, and she's aligned with Kane on this.
So if the Newmans push Kane too hard,
If they back him into a corner and make him feel desperate, that alliance with Phyllis could activate. And the threat isn't just, Phyllis leaking some damaging info. The sources use the word deadly.
deadly. Seriously.
It's suggested they can actually deploy the AI offensively, use it against the Newmans, target their financial systems, their corporate infrastructure. It could turn the corporate fight into something with real-world, potentially devastating consequences. Not just bankruptcy, but maybe widespread disruption.
Wow. So Kane, who can sometimes seem like the more stable businessman compared to, say, Adam, he's now holding this incredibly volatile weapon, and he's allied with Phyllis.
And he's likely feeling desperate himself, driven by ambition, but maybe also fear of failure, fear of the Newmans crushing him. That desperation, combined with Phyllis's unpredictability and the raw power of this AI, it creates this incredibly unstable situation. It's a ticking time bomb for the whole Genoa City corporate landscape.
Okay, so the Newmans are dealing with that potential explosion. What about the Abbotts? Are they just bystanders here?
Not at all. While the Newmans face this external technological threat, the Abbott family seems to be imploding from within, mostly fueled by old resentments around money and favoritism.
This involves Billy.
Billy is central to this. He's having a really hard time, apparently. It starts with his mother, Jill Abbott, leaving town. She's heading to London for some kind of treatment.
Okay, so he's worried about her health.
That's part of it, sure. But it seems like her absence also dredges up a lot of his long simmering resentment. Specifically, his frustration with Jill's perceived constant favoritism toward Kane.
The eternal Billy versus Kane dynamic fueled by Jill.
Exactly. And it's not just hurt feelings, it's about business. Billy is apparently furious about the influence Jill wields over Abbott.com's funding, especially how she seems to prioritize Kane's ventures.
He thinks Jill is playing favorites with the company money.
He seems deeply suspicious of her motives, yeah. Especially concerning any funding going towards Kane, or maybe pressure she was putting on others involved, like Sally Spectra, who the later spoilers mention is pushing back on something. Billy feels Kane gets preferential treatment, and he might even be looking for proof that his own mother is mismanaging things or acting unethically to benefit Kane.
So this isn't just family drama. It's potentially a serious corporate governance issue within Abbott.com. Jill favoring Kane financially could be splitting the company.
It certainly seems to be causing an internal civil war, or at least threatening one. Billy feels undermined, marginalized, betrayed, and that risks tearing the family's business interests apart, just as they probably need to be unified.
Is anyone trying to keep the peace?
Jack. Jack is trying. The sources say he's attempting to mend fences with Billy, trying to repair that brotherly bond before the bitterness consumes everything. He's stuck in the middle, really trying to manage Billy's justifiable frustration, while also dealing with the external pressures, some of which might indirectly stem from Jill's support of Kane.
It's a mess. Everyone seems to be furious or under pressure.
Which brings us back perfectly to Kyle Abbott, because after his disastrous LA trip, he returns home. And the spoilers for the week of October 20th to 24th describe him as raging furious.
And who does he take it out on? Let me guess. Not himself.
Not a chance. That focused, simmering fury needs an outlet, and it lands squarely, immediately on Audra Charles.
His current
partner,
fiancé, whatever they are now.
Exactly. He apparently lashes out, blaming Audra for everything. Specifically, he blames her for Claire running off with Holden.
Wow. How does he even connect those dots?
It's classic projection, isn't it? He failed. He lost control of the situation with Claire. He couldn't make her stay, couldn't make her choose him. So instead of owning that failure, that rejection, he needs a scapegoat, and Audra becomes the target.
But why Audra specifically? Is there any connection, or is it just misplaced anger?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. He might see Audra as culpable because of her own past connections, We know Audra has history, possibly with Holden himself, or at least within that same LA scene. So in Kyle's wounded, furious mind, maybe he's thinking Audra's influence or her past or her perceived lack of judgment somehow tainted the situation or made Claire leave.
So he's basically using Audra's potentially shady past as the reason for his own romantic failure.
That seems to be the dynamic. He's deflecting his heartbreak and humiliation onto her, and the timing is just awful for Audra.
Why? What's happening with her?
Because just before Kyle returns in his rage, around Friday, October 17th, Audra herself faces something difficult. The spoilers say she experiences a painful reminder of her past.
Ah, so she's already vulnerable when Kyle comes storming back.
Exactly. And this painful reminder, we don't know exactly what it is, but the speculation centers heavily on her LA history. Could it involve Nate, maybe Amy Lewis, or more likely, given the context, something directly related to Holden Novak? Or even further back, Tucker McCall, who also has LA ties.
So just as Kyle is blaming her for Holden-related problems, her own Holden-related or LA-related past comes back to haunt her.
It seems highly likely the trigger is connected to Holden or that LA world. Something she thought was buried resurfaces, maybe a past relationship detail, a dodgy business dealing, something she definitely doesn't want the Abbotts, especially Kyle, knowing about right now.
Which, ironically, might almost validate Kyle's anger in his own mind. If her past is connected to Holden, he might feel justified in blaming her.
It could create that twisted logic for him, yes. See, I knew you were tangled up in this mess. It makes their relationship incredibly volatile. He's furious and looking for someone to blame, and she's vulnerable and possibly trying to hide something that's just resurfaced. Not a good combination.
No kidding. And this all seems to weave back together, doesn't it? These secrets in LA.
It really does. It brings us back to Holden and Sienna Bacall, their shared past, the secrets they apparently have. Those are bubbling up. And Holden seemed really nervous about it when Sienna brought it up in front of Claire.
Why is that so important now?
Because if those secrets relate to the LA club scene, to rivals, to shady deals, they might hold the key to understanding who targeted Noah and why.
Right. If Holden was involved in something dangerous, maybe Noah just got caught in the crossfire. Or maybe Holden knows more than he's letting on.
Precisely. Holden is actively trying to hide this baggage from Claire, trying to present himself as the better, more stable choice compared to Kyle. But if Sienna starts talking, especially if Nick and Sharon, in their investigation, start asking her questions, those secrets could explode.
And it wouldn't just expose Holden's character flaws to Claire.
It could potentially reveal the motive or even the perpetrator behind the attack on Noah. Nick's investigation, fueled by that righteous fury, might end up completely blowing up Holden's new life with Claire as a side effect of finding the truth about his son.
Okay, wow. So let's try to pull this all together then. We've covered a lot of ground, a lot of intense emotion and action across LA and Genoa City. What's the big picture synthesis here?
I think the core theme running through everything in this period is fury, but it's manifesting in really different, crucial ways that will shape where these stories go next.
How so? Two kinds of fury.
Yeah. Essentially, on one side, you have Nick Newman's raging fury. It's described as cold, rational, highly focused. It's grief that's been weaponized into a mission. This kind of fury is generative. It drives action, investigation, plot, movement. He's channeling it into finding answers.
Okay, constructive fury almost.
In a way, yes. Then, on the other side, you have Kyle Abbott's anger boiling over. This is the opposite. It's hot, explosive, destructive, and completely misplaced. It stems from his loss of control, his bruised ego over Claire's rejection.
And he aims it at Audra.
Right. He projects his failure outward. This kind of anger doesn't build anything. It just destroys relationships, trust, maybe even his own standing within the family or company. It shows a profound lack of emotional maturity.
Two very different responses to crisis.
Yeah.
And intertwined with all this personal anger are the corporate stakes, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned Sally Spectra pushing back later in October.
Yes, the Oct 2024 spoilers mention Sally pushing back, and that likely connects directly to the Abacom funding struggles Billy's dealing with. It suggests Jill's pressure, maybe demands tied to funding Kane or other ventures, isn't just affecting Billy, but others like Sally, too. It reinforces that Jill's actions, favoring Kane, are having wide ripples.
So you've got these intense personal battles, love, loss, betrayal, investigation happening alongside this high-stakes corporate warfare, especially the AI threat.
Exactly. And the contrast is important. You have the very human, messy fallout of Kyle's rejection and Nick's grief. But hovering over all of it is this almost inhuman threat. Kane's autonomous AI. It's systemic, it's potentially indiscriminate, and the sources keep repeating it could turn deadly. It's a danger that operates on a completely different level than who's angry at whom.
So bringing it all together, we have Noah's crash in L.A., looking targeted, potentially linked to the club scene, Holden, Sienna, all that L.A. mess.
Right. A direct physical attack targeting a Newman.
And simultaneously, back in Genoa City, we have Kane's dangerous AI, allied with Phyllis, seemingly poised to strike against Newman Enterprises, Victor, Adam, Nick's family.
A technological, systemic attack targeting the Newmans.
So here's the final thought, the question that kind of hangs in the air based on everything we've just unpacked from these sources. Are these two crises completely separate?
Is it just a terrible coincidence that the Newman family is being hit from two different angles, a personal attack on Noah in LA and a corporate tech attack back home?
Or is it possible they're connected? Could there be a single unseen enemy orchestrating both attacks? Someone trying to destabilize the entire Newman empire by hitting them personally and professionally at the same time, using the chaos in LA as a distraction perhaps, while the real threat, the AI, gets ready to deploy.
That's a chilling possibility. Or maybe even more directly, what happens with Nick. He's laser focused on finding who hurt Noah. He's teaming up with Detective Burrow. He's digging into the LA scene.
What if his relentless investigation, his search for the truth about the targeted crash, leads him down a path that points not just to some LA rival, but somehow connects back home? What if in trying to avenge his son, Nick stumbles right into the crosshairs of Kane's AI plot, making himself a prime target in a corporate war he wasn't even initially fighting?
That collision, Nick's personal vendetta running headlong into Kane's automated, potentially lethal technological threat, that feels like the ultimate storm brewing on the horizon for the coming weeks. He might solve one mystery only to walk straight into a much bigger danger.